Welcome everybody to War and Peace Baseball Podcast. It is episode 88 for Tuesday, September 26th. I'm here today with Alex Rudy. What's up, Alex?
How's it going?
And I'm Alex Uwe, and I'm here today in person, actually, with Ray Estrada. What's up, Ray?
Hello. Always Wi-Fi went out, and we're in the same place right now, so it was easy to come and get me.
It works out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is a little bit weird because we're in the same place using the same equipment, and it feels very tight right now. I don't know why, but yeah, it should be fine. Rudy's in his normal, comfortable environment, so he's gonna be all good to go, right?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think before we get to the best story that we're gonna talk about, as a completely unbiased Yankees fan,
The Carmelo trade. Wait.
No, wait. I think.
Oh, don't get me started. I would love to talk about that all night.
That's hockey, right? I think, yeah, with something like that. We'll go ahead and talk about one other story here before we get to the good stuff, I guess. If Yankees fans out there absolutely know what we're talking about. So we'll talk about the D-backs clinching the NL wildcard spot. They did that yesterday. They actually didn't need to win the game that they were playing in. They clinched when the Brewers and the Cardinals both lost, right? So they clinched during the game, and then JD Martinez finished it off with a nice walk-off single. So good day for Diamondbacks fans all around. What did you guys think about the Diamondbacks as, a legit postseason contender? Because they're a pretty scary team. I think that's completely fair to say at this point.
Yeah, I think when you think of wildcard teams, you think of teams that kind of snuck into the playoffs, at least for the second wildcard team. But with the Diamondbacks, they're definitely dangerous. They have amazing hitting. JD Martinez was a great add, and he's performed well for them. And they've had good pitching. Surprisingly, we talked about this before we went on air. They are really good on the road, which kind of helps the numbers being a little skewed in that ballpark. But they have a complete enough team to make a solid run. And as a Dodgers fan, I am kind of nervous if we meet them in the NLDS, but not as nervous as some people are. But they're definitely a threat of a team.
I think that they're not at the same level as the Dodgers or the Nationals personally, but I think there's no reason to say that they can't advance as far as they can go in the playoffs. I think they're an excellent team. They're balanced. The pitching, the defense, the offense, it's all there. In my opinion, they were the biggest surprise team of the season. You can make the case. I think the Yankees and the Brewers also could argue are that team.
Brewers,
but
probably not.
I think the Diamondbacks are up in the running for it there, for sure. And I think they're going to easily win that wild card single game for sure.
Really? Because all these other teams that are competing for that second wild card...
It's more a Zach Greinke thing, honestly, that I think they'll win that game more than anything.
Really? I guess you look at the other teams that could potentially match up against him. As of right now, it would be the Rockies, who, they don't have an ace, really. I guess John Gray would start that game for them. But then the Brewers, they don't have their guy. They don't have Jimmy Nelson anymore. And then the Cardinals, if they manage to make it, who do they run out there? They've got a bunch of, okay pitchers that have been getting the job done. I would say Luke Weaver probably, as of recently, he actually didn't pitch very well today. Carlos Martinez, I guess, is still there, but he's been, touch and go. I think, it's such a weird thing to have a one-game playoff of such high stakes in a really hitter-friendly environment. We don't see that very often. Think about, I don't know why it is, but just in recent years, I feel like most of the wild card matchups have been at very, hitting neutral or pitcher-friendly ballparks. If anything, like wild card games in Pittsburgh or in Citi Field in New York, and for the National League anyway. That's just I just think it's going to be a much different type of wild card game than we're used to. Might be a very, very quick starting pitching game and then straight to the bullpen from there. So, yeah. Do you have any other anything else to say about the Diamondbacks here before we continue on?
Me or
Either one of you. I don't know.
okay. Sorry, I was a little
It's a little
confused.
weird. I'm talking directly
Yeah.
to one of you
Yeah.
that's not here, and then one of you that's with me. This is different for me too. Okay, this is I don't know what's going on.
He's not in his natural environment.
I know.
I don't have anything more on the Diamondbacks. I agree with you that wildcard game could be very exciting, because the Rockies do have I would call them a sleeping giant of an offense at this point. They're not performing too well right now, but they could easily jump all over Greinke, and John Gray could shut down the Diamondbacks enough. So it's certainly interesting. It's not a done deal, but I do think they're going to win that game.
Yeah. So, do you think that JD Martinez has a very, very good chance of coming back next year, signing with them? I don't see a good scenario, like, unless the Diamondbacks really, for some stupid reason, aren't willing to, shell out a good contract for him. I think he's looking really likely to stay there. Do you agree for the most part?
I think they're definitely the front runners for him, and I don't see them not resigning him because they're definitely shown the path that their team willing to spend money. He's only 30 years old. There's no reason that he can't have at least 2 or 3 more good seasons because, I mean, power hitters like this, they definitely don't fall off a cliff at 30. Usually, I would say bearing injuries, and as long as it's not an unreasonable deal, I think it's definitely possible. And the market for JD Martinez, this type of player, is honestly at bottom in value that's been in years, as the trade deadline showed with him, and his previous year deal with the Tigers shown, and all the power hitters last offseason contracts in general showed. I think he's definitely coming back. I'd be very surprised.
It's amazing. It just still amazes me how little he was traded for.
Yeah.
The kind of value he's providing. Like, his season numbers, his slugging percentage is Barry Bonds territory right now, like prime Barry Bonds territory. And if you look at his time just with the Diamondbacks, it's, it's arguably it's close to being like better than prime Barry Bonds good. Like that's the level of production he's been at since hitting, with the Diamondbacks. And this is a rare power guy that's hitting for a very consistently high batting average. He has been for years now. I think when you're talking about the market for power bats going down a lot, I feel like he even breaks this mold just because he's such a complete hitter compared to most other guys out there. So you think? Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you on the JD Martinez stuff. What do you think about the pool celebration? We haven't talked about that because as a Dodger fan, people are pointing out that the Diamondbacks did it first when they last clinched 2011, but Dodgers, I believe, it was 2013 when they beat the Diamondbacks on their home field. The Dodgers jumped in the pool, and I feel like what do you think of the pool celebration this time around?
What do you mean? I mean, it's. Obviously, like if I had a pool sitting right out there in right field, I would absolutely want to jump in it afterwards. Do you think you can't say it's the Dodgers thing either because it's
no. I'm not saying it is
Arizona.
But
pool,
do you feel it's kind of lost its luster once a road rival does it in your pool?
No, I don't think so because, the Dodgers did what they did, and it was kind of a weird thing for them to do it in a visiting ballpark.
Well, because the Diamondbacks
people kind of looked at it like that, but it's completely normal for the home team to do that in that case.
The Diamondbacks said don't celebrate on the field, and the pool's not the field, so. And they did it after everybody left, kind of. So.
Yeah, cool. That's. I still think it was a strange move right there by the Dodgers. I feel like there was plenty other ways to.
I loved it.
To properly celebrate. It was just an extra middle finger right there.
Yeah, I loved it.
I don't know. What did you think about the whole Dodgers pool celebration thing when it happened, Rudy? Do you remember that at all?
Yeah. Part of me loves it, and like just because the sheer disrespect to the Diamondbacks that shows, kind of in a way I kind of love that attitude, and part of me also just thinks it's a little dickish, but
a little bit.
I think baseball has this very unique level of unsportsmanlike conduct that's heavily recommended and encouraged as part of the game, and that's just kind of a random example for it. I think it's unique to baseball, specific atmosphere.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
That are part of the unwritten rules.
Pimping the home run, Just kind of like all these unspoken rules, like you said. So I kind of treated like the
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Like,
celebration like that. So it's kind of a unique kind of atmosphere. I think it's baseball exclusive.
yeah, it is weird that I don't really think about that. I mean, hockey probably has similar, you know, kinds of rules, I'd imagine, in terms of retaliation and you know, using force to defend your guys. There's more tolerance for that in hockey. I think.
Yeah, and like I mean, fights are just a 2-minute penalty in hockey.
Yeah, so they're very tolerated. But like in basketball, if you know you can get seriously reprimanded for stepping underneath a 3-point shooter if or like retaliating that way. There's like zero tolerance for anything like that. It's very different. So that's interesting to think about. Yeah. So all right, you guys ready? You guys ready?
Do you want your time in the spotlight? I'm scooting my chair away so I don't get in the face when he celebrates.
The Aaron Judge circle jerk begins right now. He's at 50. He did it. 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 Oh my God, he did it. Oh my God, what the? Okay, I you know what? No need for profanity here, but Jesus, I was watching that game earlier, and part of me just knew he was gonna do it in that game after he hit the 49th one to tie the record. Part of me just felt like he was gonna do it right away in that same game. I thought for sure it was gonna happen. I'm sure you had a very similar reaction to it, Rudy.
I lost my shit. All rise for the judge. I am currently standing up now.
Should I be doing that? Oh.
Yes.
That's why I got out of your way.
Okay.
This guy.
I'm sitting down.
You're not a believer then. You're not a true believer.
Aaron Judge is what sports is all about. And more than anything, I've been just unbelievably impressed that throughout this whole season, how he's handled all the pressure, all the fame, all the attention, that sophomore slump that he had during the season in August, be able to come back from all that. And you can just see that when he, when he's feeling it and he can just express his will onto the game, it's just a special kind of domination I think is very unique in sports. I think Mike Trout in a different way is that good. Stanton's power often feels that way. Kershaw's brilliance. I think I'm not trying to overreact to Judge because he still is only a rookie. I'm someone who almost never gives guys proper respect until they. Yeah, but at the same time, like I can't remember a rookie season like this in any sport in my lifetime where I really watched sports that was this unbelievable. Though he is 25, that definitely takes a little bit away from it. I mean, when you think of it as his prime 25 year, it kind of makes more sense, I would say. Not to diminish.
I'm thinking now, I'm racking my brain for like recent rookie performances that, even can kind of parallel this. I mean, Chris Bryant was really good, nowhere near this good. It's hard for me to think. I mean, Jose Abreu had a monster rookie year too, not to this level, but like there's been some really good, like almost MVP caliber, like and Judge's MVP caliber season. He might be the MVP as a legitimate shot. I think the top 3 right now is pretty much a toss-up, and we'll talk about that more another time. But yeah, in terms of just rookie performances, I mean, like I'm just thinking back, it honestly might be the most jaw-dropping rookie performance since Ichiro in 2001 when he went absolutely nuts. Or was that 2001? Or was that...
Yeah, Ichiro was 2001.
The Mariners made the playoffs with a record-breaking win number. Or was that was Ichiro won Rookie of the Year and AL MVP that year?
Yeah, he was exactly.
Like 20-something
that was,
when he came over.
And that wasn't the year... What year was it that he broke the hit record? It was a couple years after that, right?
Yeah,
but he was still insane that year.
I think like 03-04 is when he broke the hit record.
Yeah. Or like Albert Pujols, his rookie season, that was the same year, wasn't it? They were both 2001.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah.
So I think that's the last time you saw something that level. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably forgetting some amazing rookie performance since then.
No, 100% Ichiro. I was thinking that when I said it, and we didn't. I'm sure you guys weren't either. I wasn't really old enough to appreciate that season, so.
Yeah, no, we were.
Yeah. Maybe you guys were really smart 3-year-olds. I don't know. Maybe you had a really good memory. I didn't want to assume anything.
I did, but
But I think this is good for baseball more than anything. Honestly, that's my last thought on it. It's good for baseball, and obviously he's a Yankee, so I'm biased, like an evil empire back. But I think it's good for baseball when the Yankees are really good. In all honesty.
Yeah, I mean it's because just think about it's New York. He's the new big face of all of baseball just because he's sitting right there in New York and doing what he's doing. I mean, it's unbelievable, and he's handling himself well. He's definitely exceeded my expectations in every way this season. One of my greatest regrets is picking up Hunter Renfroe instead of Aaron Judge in April in one of my fantasy leagues. Jesus, what was I thinking? I should have some loyalty. Whatever.
I agree with you, Rudy. That it's good for Major League Baseball that he was in a major market like New York. Even if the Yankees sucked, the fact that Judge is doing what he's doing in New York for the Yankees, I think the Yankees have more of a spotlight than the Mets. But you saw even with Bellinger for Los Angeles Dodgers not being overshadowed by Judge's season, and we all wonder why Mike Trout isn't getting he's not being promoted as the face of baseball. Part of it is because he doesn't have that kind of attitude to just say he just does what he does and he's great at it.
Well, that's the same as Judge, to be fair.
Yeah,
Bellinger, but these guys are not,
No, I know. But then my next point is that they're technically the Los Angeles Angels. Are they of Anaheim anymore?
They're no longer of Anaheim, officially, I believe.
They're in Anaheim, which their market is essentially Anaheim. It's not Los Angeles. But yeah, Judge doing what he's doing as a Yankee is huge for Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of a good place to go from there. I think, with all the hype, Aaron Judge, definitively the Rookie of the Year this season with his insanity, in the best rookie in baseball. This has been an insane year for rookies beyond that as well. Cody Bellinger obviously is the next one to pop in your mind, for most people anyway. He broke the NL rookie home run record, right? So, we'll give him credit there as well. He's at 39 now?
Home runs,
He's probably going to hit 40 homers on the season if he gets one more in this last week. So
they go to Colorado for the last weekend. So.
Yeah, so, that is not to be underappreciated as well. And I could make the same kind of, I could praise a lot of these rookies in a similar way that are just, straight up being overshadowed. I'll go through, some of the other rookies that you may have either forgotten about or that, are, not even, you might have forgotten the rookies, things like that. Andrew Benintendi for Boston. That's another good one to go to right away. He was the favorite. He was all of everybody. Picks. Yeah, he was all of our pick to win Rookie of the Year. And now he's kind of just an afterthought. And I'm sure many people out there don't even think of him as a rookie just because he's so settled into his role already. He's such a solid, producer in left field for, the AL East, title winners at the moment. So, I'm not sure, Benintendi is such a different type of player. He just wasn't able to do anything near what Judge is doing, but we were all very wrong. I'm kind of happy to say about that anyway.
I don't know who saw a season like this coming from Judge.
I don't know. Anybody that
did,
I would say is a liar. So
yeah, either a liar on drugs or
you don't have to be on.
Actually, psychic.
I hope there's some extremely loyal Yankees fans out there that believed in him from the get go, but that's just a hard thing to do. Keeping it in the AL East again, Trey Mancini had a really good year for Baltimore.
I totally forgot about him. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And there we go. I'm educating even other members of the podcast crew right now.
I didn't know he was a rookie.
Yeah, he is, and he's been doing it all year. He's hitting .293, which is really good for a rookie. He's the highest batting average of any of those other guys that I've mentioned, even, I think. So, and he's doing a good job. OPS in the 800s. That's not to be underappreciated as well. I'm just gonna list off a bunch of guys, and you guys can say whatever you want about him as I do. Josh Bell for Pittsburgh is another guy who you probably already forgot's a rookie as well.
I think he was on our radar when we did our picks.
Yeah,
we were way off on Dansby Swanson. We can all admit that.
Right. Oh, I want to say Dansby Swanson did a good job recently as well. The last month and a half or so
He's
since he came back,
yeah.
he hasn't hit for any power, but his on base percentage has been really really good the last month and a half. I don't have the exact split, but up near 400 for the better part of like a month and a half there. So good bounce back for him anyway. Josh Bell though played the most games of any rookies this season, at 153. He had 24 homers and drove in 83 runs for a team that, was almost in a playoff race. I don't know. I don't even know what you called him. Pittsburgh was really not anything special, but he was there and doing his thing. Basically immediately becoming one of the foundation pieces of that team. Yuli Gurriel for Houston is also a rookie, and that's another one that you probably don't even remember, but he's hitting 295. I mean, that's pretty good in my opinion. OPS in the 800s as well, and obviously on a roster that's headed to the postseason. So, that's not to be overlooked. I'm just saying a bunch. Which I'll ask you before I just keep listing. Who's one rookie that really stood out to you that was more under the radar in your minds? Like, I'm not looking for Judges or Bellingers.
Can I see that list?
You sure can. Rudy, I'll turn to you here. Like, what's one rookie
all the pressure
that you really just like for some
just for some weird reason?
Yeah, some intangible reason or tangible reason.
When we went to the Tigers game, we talked about a certain rookie who was extremely disappointing for most of the season, but the second half has been finally starting to slowly live up to the hype. And I think Byron Buxton.
Yeah, that would be a great one if he wasn't.
No, he's not eligible. Ugh.
No.
He played that much last year.
He played like all of last
that
season.
bad.
Almost.
Oh, he was just that bad, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was that bad. I thought he was still a rookie.
2 years ago or last
2
year?
years ago he debuted. Yeah.
Is Whit Merrifield a rookie?
Overall pick. What years?
I don't. I can look it up for. let's do
well,
that.
The name on that list that I'll say is what is his name? Brent Gamble from Seattle.
Ben Gamble.
Ben Gamble.
Yeah.
Oh, Yankee.
Brent. He's up there in a lot of categories.
You don't even know his first name. That's how under.
That's how under the radar.
Ben Gamble.
I assumed his name was Brent. But yeah. I mean, I always just kind of see his name around the stat sheets, and seems like he's doing pretty well. And we're all. Haniger's not a rookie, is he? No, he is, right?
He is. Mitch Haniger this year in April was making huge waves in the Rookie of the Year conversation.
Oh yeah, I mean we were talking about him. I think in fantasy.
Yeah, and this was even when Aaron Judge was doing his thing early in the season.
Yeah.
Benintendi was off to a pretty good start, and we're like, is Mitch Haniger like a legit third horse in this race? And obviously that didn't quite pan out. But still, he's picked it up lately. He dealt with a lot of injuries.
Yeah, that is the thing.
But yeah, there's another guy in Seattle. By the way, Byron Buxton played 46 games in 2015, 92 games last year, and then 136 this year, where he seems to finally be doing something productive. So, we'll sing his praises a little bit too. Why not? Just to make you feel a little bit better, Rudy. But do you actually know any rookies from this season by any chance? Or
I was gonna say Whit Merrifield, but I just looked it up. He played last year, apparently too much to be a rookie. Also, but I didn't even know
you're
that.
Not having luck with that, are you? How about another guy that we watched in person, Yohan Moncada, who has not played enough games to really be in any kind of Rookie of the Year discussion, but he's definitely picked it up a little bit lately, scuffled out the gates. Just compared to all these other rookies, you can definitely see him be inserting himself into the same caliber as all these other rookies we've mentioned so far, right?
He definitely has the talent to pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is he's not running much, and his speed is one of his best tools that he's got. I wish he would have run more. Kind of the same deal with Ozzie Albies for the Atlanta Braves, who we didn't think we'd really see him this year. He's super young also, and he's here. He's playing for the Braves. He's getting plenty of at bats. He's just doing his thing. Doesn't seem too overwhelmed. I suppose we should definitely mention the two big rookies that have been on insane tears this last 2 months. Matt Olson and Rhys Hoskins, who we've talked about before, who, basically have hit an entire season's worth of homers in, 2 months?
Less than even. Right?
Less for Hoskins. This is... these guys could legitimately be 35, 40 home run guys next year. And Matt Olson hit more than 20 homers in both the minors and the majors this season. I think I've mentioned that before, but that's mind-blowing to me. Rudy, do you know much about either of these guys, enough to say anything?
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really know anything about them before they broke into
nobody
majors.
did, which is the great part.
But both of them debut after the All-Star break. Is that correct?
Yeah, they both.
Hoskins
was mid to late August.
Yeah.
So it's pretty incredible what they've done this short of time, and I think what's most amazing about it is that I don't know about you guys, but this season has just had so many unique and extremely surprising performances that just you would not expect, that it almost numbs me to these incredible half-season campaigns by these two guys. When you see these power numbers, it almost deflates how incredible and impressive these numbers are. I feel because there's just so many other guys just crushing the ball, and if that makes any sense.
Yeah, Matt Olson in 59 games has 24 homers.
It's crazy.
And then let's see, I'll say for Hoskins too, 45 games he has 18 homers. So both ridiculous in their own right. There's so many more rookies that I haven't even discussed, like Matt Chapman, also in Oakland, who is a defensive wizard and has been not a great offensive producer, but still looks like a really good young player for that team. Might be the best defensive rookie out there, period. And then you got Bradley Zimmer, who's another guy with the Indians who played a big role for most of that season, got hurt. Really good defensive center fielder, and did his thing out there as well. Paul DeJong, who with the St. Louis Cardinals also had a really crazy home run streak in the middle of that. He hit 22 home runs this season in 100 games. So that's another, easy 30 home run candidate for, future years. I'm listing them all now because there's so many, but there's guys like Matt Davidson, who went on a home run tear earlier this season, who's, not a great player, but still hit 26 homers now on the season, I think. So that's just a random White Sox guy getting it done.
Why do you guys think that there's so many just extremely impressive rookie seasons this year?
Because the sport itself is just so much more saturated with talent. Youth baseball is still as big as it ever has been. People say MLB is kind of like an old person sport at this point. Youth baseball is still a huge part of youth sports culture, and so many people, so many players choose baseball. Yeah,
exactly.
It's growing. And it's because parents want their kids to play this sport because it's not a sport where they're really risking their well-being that much.
Well, everybody plays baseball in their lifetime, so it's a much larger people who just are started in the sport at least, and obviously not everybody's gonna go. The thing is that everybody's football is still obviously the most popular sport, but their youth levels are declining because of injury concerns. Baseball has still been expanding at the youth levels in the past year, so baseball is not dying in any kind of way. It's a youth movement. We see youth movements in other sports. I'll bring this back to golf, something like 19 different 20-something winners this year in golf, which is crazy, and guys who are 4 or 5 years older than us. So youth movement in sports is nothing surprising, and baseball is having one of those right now, and it's great to watch because it's okay, who's this name coming up? There's seemingly not as many busts as we're used to seeing.
Yeah, and it's still something to keep in mind that even the players that are breaking into the big leagues for the very first time are still the very best of the best at at their age level, basically, at with what they're doing. They're still best of the best talent wise. They're right up there with any other players. They're just getting their first crack at it. I think we're seeing plenty of guys that are absolutely ready for their moment to shine in the big leagues, and they're taking advantage of it. So what do you think? I imagine that you have similar feelings about the overall talent level in baseball, Rudy, but is there anything else that really stands out to you about the current rookie classes and the future of young players in baseball?
Yeah, I think this is finally the stage where the guys who are coming up in the big leagues have been surrounded by advanced stats and kind of more modern training and analysis of baseball and how they interpret information and the information they're willing to accept and receive, and how they're just kind of the coaching philosophy. I think it's just so much more analytical now and a lot of biometrical based. I think these are the first guys to be able to take advantage of that kind of version of baseball, honestly. And I think it's making a difference that's hard to quantify, but in my opinion, it's there. I think it prepares you to be ready for the majors. Not necessarily faster, but the guys who can get it, and they don't need as long to adjust.
Yeah.
Because they've been taught to adjust so well to new information while they're preparing to become major league players.
Yeah, I think that's
But I
well
could be
said.
completely wrong.
The preparation process is just so much better than it ever has been. Also, and we'll wrap up the rookie conversation soon too. But I'm gonna do another little short burst of listing things because there's still so many like notable rookies that I haven't even mentioned. That I just want. This is Rookie Appreciation Day. That's what it is here on our show. So
Title.
We'll definitely do that. There you go. Make sure you remember that one.
Oh,
so
I gotta post this because it's on my computer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there you go. I guess that's a good thing. But some other guys that we hadn't even talked about: Manuel Margot and Hunter Renfroe, the Padres, both doing really well. Ian Happ on the Cubs, who also got off to a huge start, and still contributing to that team. Pat Valaika for Colorado at shortstop filled in for a long time when Story was out, and Desmond was out as well.
Pat Valaika is a pinch hitting god.
Yeah, I think he broke the rookie pinch hit RBI record.
Yeah, he has what, like, doesn't he have somewhere like over 50 RBIs as a pinch hitter, as mostly a pinch hitter or something like that?
I think he has like 17 RBIs as a pinch hitter is what I think
hitter?
that was the number.
But I know he has on the season as mostly a pinch hitter, he has like 50 plus RBIs.
Yeah, the ratio is ridiculous. I can look at in 107 games he has. How many is that for him? That would be. Oh, he has 40 RBIs in the season. Oh, okay. But a lot of those came as a pinch hitter.
When barely less than half of those is as a pinch hitter. Yeah. You're doing something right.
Yeah,
Also, breaking news, the Dodgers have beaten the Padres to get their 100th win.
All right, there we go.
So first team to 100.
Yeah, shut up about the Dodgers. It's rookie appreciation time. No.
Cody Bellinger's on the Dodgers.
We're here to... Yeah, okay, there you go. We appreciate Cody Bellinger for getting the Dodgers to 100 wins, too. Let's see, who else? Manny Pena, catcher for the Brewers for much of the season. There's Chad Pinder for Oakland, who's been playing well. Brian Goodwin for Washington filled in a lot of that time with injured outfielders and infielders everywhere. Rafael Devers, did we talk about him yet? That's
no, we have not talked about him.
Yeah, he's obviously next level talent who was out of the gates insanely hot. He's still hitting over 300. He's definitely one of the better hitters of all these rookies. I know I haven't mentioned any pitchers yet. I'll list off a few pitchers. This is just not nearly as strong on the pitching side, unfortunately.
That's most of Major League Baseball at this point, though.
Yeah, Clint Frazier earlier this year, also for the Yankees, going to be there next year, dealing with injuries. Jorge Bonifacio for Kansas City, he's hitting tanks for the Royals. So, too bad it's for the Royals. Nick Williams for the Phillies has been doing well as of late.
Aaron Altair's a rookie, isn't he?
No, he's not.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh.
Altair played enough last year, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's young. He's another young part of that.
The Phillies have a lot of young guys. I think.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, just a quick side note on the Phillies. Their offense is very encouraging.
Yeah, it is. And who's their catcher? Who I also don't
Craig
think
or Joseph.
No, Jose Alfaro.
Joseph.
Jose Alfaro.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's a really good offensive catcher. I don't think he's a rookie though, because I think he did play enough last year, possibly. On the pitching side of things, not nearly as impressive names, but I'll throw a few like Ty Block for the Giants. Depressing season for the Giants. Did okay for them, I guess. Parker Bridwell for the Angels did really well for some time anyway. The Rockies pitchers the same kind of way, like at least for some time they did, like Kyle Freeland and Senzatella. Remember all the Senzatella hype earlier this season? Oh man. And German Marquez, however you say that.
German Marquez has actually been one of the most consistent pitchers on that Rocky staff, though.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, really atrocious staff still, but they're getting the job done.
What, he has like a 4 something ERA?
As of right
That's
now,
not
they're
terrible
going.
for
As
a
of right now,
rookie.
they're going for the playoffs. So that'll do the job. Jordan Montgomery is for the Yankees did a really good job, especially the first half. Sean Newcomb for the Braves, another top prospect type of guy. Trevor Williams in Pittsburgh. The Reds pitchers probably some of the better ones here. Robert Stephenson did well lately, but Luis Castillo is probably the best rookie pitcher this season by far, and probably is going to be one of the game's best next year and in future years. That's absolutely dominant stuff from him. They shut him down early, but he went out really strong. What do you think about Luis Castillo, Rudy? I don't know if you've seen
he needed some gestation. And wasn't a guy who I feel like the second they put him in the big leagues was necessarily ready. He had some up and downs at the beginning, but I mean he is legit. Unfortunately, I think the Reds need a lot more guys like Luis Castillo before they're good again. That's a tough ballpark to pitch in, but I mean he looks like a beast. There's no doubt.
Yeah, he looks very much like Luis Severino, who the stuff was all there. There was some concerns, but once he just made that little adjustment and figured out, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. And Luis Castillo looks like he's on that same exact trajectory for the most part. So that's a good thing for the Reds. A few more names: Robert Gsellman, Jacob Faria, who's good for Tampa Bay for a while, Dinelson Lamet for Padres, Jeff Hoffman also the Rockies. Alex Meyer for the Angels was doing really well. I think he's injured also now. Nick Pivetta, who with the Phillies has done well in like the last month and a half. He hasn't been up very long at all. A lot of guys like that. So I don't think there's much point in me listing off more names because we're getting into territory where you guys have no idea what I'm talking about and can't really give any valuable insight on these guys. But the point of all this super talented rookie class. And next year is going to have a hell of a time trying to one-up this year's class for sure. So, don't be disappointed if next year there's some rookies that, aren't doing so well. Don't be spoiled by this year, okay? Because that's just an impossible thing to keep up with, I think. An impossible pace of new talent to maintain. I hope I'm proved wrong, but I just think realistically, we're not going to see this next year.
Yeah, well, because when we made our picks, it seeed so cut and dry. Like, there was some argument around the NL, like maybe Renfroe, maybe Margot. But Benintendi was by far our favorite going in. And then a lot of these rookies are coming from the American League, the AL East. You mentioned Mancini and Judge, obviously, but it's like, so it seems so cut and dry this year. Like, you'd have your top rookies and then you have guys middle of the pack or whatever. So next year, it's going to be a crapshoot when you're picking. Because like I said, it could easily be like this year. We want it to be like this year, just more talent the better, but it's probably not going to be sustained with the next year's rookie class has a lot to live up to next year.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I really love if, like Vladdy Jr. and Gleyber Torres and Nick Senzel, like, all proved me wrong next year and just became absolute monsters too, but I'm not going to assume that at this point, so.
I think that next year it could be possible that there's a smaller, though still substantial amount of rookies that just kind of blow expectations out of the water. But it's definitely not sustainable, I think, especially after the next crop.
Yeah.
I know it's really hard to predict, like, 2020 prospects at this point, 2019, but I think we're in like a 5-year window of, like, just insane rookie performances, I feel like, compared to the previous 5 years. So it all balances out ultimately in the long run. I'm sure there'll be a regression soon.
I think it is encouraging for next year because so many of the top prospects are in AA and AAA. There's not like a top 5 prospect who's in like rookie ball. So like a lot of these guys who are at the top of the list are very close, and a lot of these guys on the list are very close to making major leagues. And I think, like I said, it is cyclical. Like those guys will make the major leagues, and then the top prospects become guys who are lower in minor leagues. So the rookies aren't there yet, but I think it is very encouraging for next year. And like Francisco Mejia, I don't think is a rookie.
No, he will be a rookie next year, I think.
Next year, yeah, because he was a September call-up. So
yeah, he's definitely not going to get enough at-bats to do that, so he's a good contender. There's plenty of good prospect names that we'll talk about a lot in the off-season because we love talking about prospects when there's no actual baseball to watch. So
Especially during the Arizona Fall League.
Yeah, that too. We'll be talking about that plenty when that comes around. So yeah, so good job, rookies. Keep up the good work. Don't go into sophomore slumps, all of you. Yeah, round of applause. Why not? There you go.
That's why we need sound bites.
There we go. No, this is how we do it here. All right. Yeah, a couple more things we'll mention before we wrap up the show here. Stanton Watch, 57 homers. He's close. If Judge already did it in a much more timely manner than I thought he would, getting to his milestone goal there. But if Stanton gets to 60 or 61, that's going to be a huge thing too. And he's in Coors Field. He didn't hit one today, so he's got 2 days left.
I believe so.
In Coors Field to try to hit some out.
I believe he does have 2 days left.
Hopefully we get to see like a 550-foot bomb at Coors Field with, the orange juiced balls and the super light air over there. So, we're still on Stanton Watch for the remainder of this season anyway. And I guess now we're also on Bryce Harper Watch because he's gonna be coming back. He was supposed to come back today actually, and then was out with like illness. They're like, whatever, take another day. What are they?
They've wrapped it up.
Yeah. It's going to be some interesting lineups you're seeing in this last week, especially for the teams that have locked it in. And, the same kind of janky lineups you've seen for all the teams that are well out of it at this point. So maybe not the best quality baseball you've ever seen in this last week, but if you're looking for high-quality baseball, watch the Brewers, watch the Cardinals, watch the Twins and the Angels, all these teams that are still fighting fighting for their spot in the postseason. Those are the games you want to watch. So those are the games I'll be watching anyway. So
yeah,
that's your baseball viewer advice for the week. There you go. Anything else to mention before we wrap things up here? Because I think it's a good place to end things off.
Yeah.
I feel like if our Bode was on this podcast, we spent the whole time ranting about how the Angels collapsed at the end.
Yeah, and I mean, they still, technically, in it, they're the closest team, and they play the White Sox and the Mariners at home in this last week here, so their schedule is very favorable. If the Twins absolutely fall off a cliff,
their schedule went from dreadful to favorable.
Yeah, they lost to the White Sox today, so they're not helping themselves. I think they're pretty much done. So, so sad. The only real race left is the NL wild card. So, keep your TVs tuned to that one.
Yeah. And my final thought is hopefully your Wi-Fi works so that this doesn't become
I seriously hope so
thing.
too. I'm definitely gonna have some serious emails being sent to some repair people around campus area. So hopefully we get all that squared away. This was fine.
It works, but
totally natural.
If we had a better setup, if it wasn't just like 2 chairs at my desk, it'd be fine. But
yeah, what can you do? We're making the best of what we got. So yeah, so thanks everybody for joining us. Of course, we always want to hear any feedback you have. You should also, rate, like, subscribe our podcast on iTunes or YouTube, wherever you're listening. And get in touch with us. Tweet us at WPB_podcast. Check out our Facebook page. The link for that is down below. You can email us, warandpeacebaseball@gmail.com. And check out our website. Link is also below. We've got all our podcasts and some articles as well. And going into the off season, we'll definitely have some more articles coming out. And I guess I'll mention a quick thing about our schedule going forward too. Probably going to be switching back to the once a week format type of thing. Fantasy podcasts will be fewer and far between. Obviously, it's not season anymore. There's not much to talk about, but we'll talk some fantasy baseball throughout the off season.
We could do a wrap up show.
We'll do a wrap up definitely sometime once the season's over later this week, whenever we get around to that. But look out for one more big fantasy wrap up show, and we'll do a end of the season main podcast as well sometime next week, and we'll be podcasting through the postseason and through the off season. We always have, we always will, I think, hopefully. So if
maybe some more kind of quick things during the postseason,
we'll try to be mixing it up and trying to do whatever feels like needs to be done. So
be on the lookout. Those of you still listening,
right now. Plenty of new stuff coming, and if you are listening, show us your support. Thanks,
Thank
and we appreciate it.
Hi,
so,
JR.
Yeah, there you go. I think my aunt's watching. I think that's another good one. Biggest fans out there. So, yeah.
Hi, Grandma.
All right. And Rudy, have any
Shout-outs?
listener shout-outs, or do you not know anybody listening?
Yeah, if you're from MSAS and any affiliated clubs such as Michigan Sabre, what's up?
Yeah.
How's it going?
There you go.
Thanks for listening. I don't know why you listen to all this, but thank you.
I don't. Sometimes I wonder why we do it, but I just remember because it's fun, and I think.
We might as well record and put it out for people to listen.
Yeah, exactly. I think fun is fun, and that's just the way it should be. And yeah, hopefully we'll bring on some more guests too. That's another thing I forgot to mention. So if you like guest interviews, we'll be having some more of those as well going into the off season. So yeah, I'll thank you one more time. A lot of thanking, a lot of appreciation this episode for rookies, for the fans, for you guys here that are joining me, for Bode, who's not here but moving into college and all of that. That is going to do it for our show. As always, Rudy.
Peace.